Hey everyone, ArchTalko here, welcoming you back to Entwined and welcoming you to the 7th timeline featuring one of my absolute favorite tracks from the soundtrack. God, it is so good to listen to. Just all of it. Again, even just check out a playlist on YouTube, man. You will not be disappointed by Entwined's soundtrack. Oh, he did such a good job. Such a good job. Oh yes. So today, I have a specific topic that I'd love to talk about, and one topic that I'm sure is going to really date this video and make it basically irrelevant in probably less than a week. That's my bet, at least. Let's call it 6 days. Gonna be completely irrelevant in 6 days. I'm gonna call it now. Place your bets. That topic, of course, has to do with what has recently been brought up with YouTube not monetizing certain scandalous content. Some of these things include sexually suggestive content, even sexual humor, violence, and any display of injury, inappropriate language, promotion of drugs, which honestly I'm down with. I mean, I'm very like anti-drugs of like any kind person, so I mean, whatever, that's cool. But also controversial subjects and events, so like things including like war coverage, political standpoints, natural disasters, tragedies, and even things like mental disease. Anything that's deemed sort of undesirable for advertisers are just flat out not being monetized or getting severely cut monetization rates. Now, H3 has already made a video on this, kind of outlining what is actually happening. It's the fact that nothing's really changed. The TOS has been the exact same for years now. And this has been happening to certain people depending on their tags and metadata, just now they are actually implementing a notification system to actually tell people when their monetization is being cut. A lot of people are calling it censoring and a violation of free speech, and honestly, I don't agree with that. The thing about YouTube is that a lot of people forget that it's a free platform that's made free through its advertisers. That's where a majority of the income, not all, but a majority of the income comes from, and even then, Google's still operating it at a loss. I mean, what stinks about all this is that you're still allowed to make the videos. They're not actually being taken down. You're just losing the monetization over videos of those certain topics. So, I mean, naturally that does end up censoring people because, I mean, if you do YouTube full-time as your career, I mean, when you go to work, you want to get paid, and I'm imagining that most people who make YouTube videos for a living want to actually get paid off of their videos. I know if I got big enough, I would want that, so naturally, this is just gonna lead to people not wanting to cover these subjects, or if they do, to sort of skate around them and not fully address them or put as much attention into them as they would probably like to, and I can completely understand why people are kind of ticked off about it. Thing is though, I can also see the side of the advertisers. You know, I mean, say you have an awesome shirt that you want to advertise to the masses of YouTube. When you advertise on YouTube, you have a direct say in what types of channels those advertisements get placed on, and you can really specify very specific demographics that your advertisements go to. So my question would be, you know, if I'm this marketing guy over Shirts Inc., because that's clearly the best name I can come up with on a dime, would I rather advertise to, say, like a fashion guru who's very rated E and uses good language and has a huge demographic of everyone because it's friendly to everyone? Or would I rather advertise to a channel that, I don't know, gives news on war crimes and rapists? I don't know. What I'm trying to get at is that clearly there are certain topics that advertisers just don't want to touch, and I get it. Like, if I had a brand, there are just some things that I wouldn't want to associate with my brand. And so I'm not saying that it's right, because it does feel kind of poopy that people are being kind of manipulated into only talking about certain subjects, but at the same time, this is a very capitalistic platform, and I mean, unfortunately, for the most part, money does speak. So the thing about YouTube is that ever since people have started making careers out of this platform, it has just been a constantly changing environment, and that's not going to change anytime soon. I mean, if there ever comes a time where there's a competitor to YouTube that can actually successfully take a chunk of its audience, and, you know, prove take the platform of YouTube but make, you know, crazy improvements to essentially make YouTube obsolete, then we might have to worry about this. But the way I see it, YouTube is such a titan that there's really no way of avoiding that its sort of volatile nature is just what we have to put up with. I can only see if there are channels that, you know, make their living off of talking about these more controversial subjects who end up sort of quieting these opinions, or at least making them not as numerous or drastic. I can see them getting a lot of criticism, but I don't know, as a fellow content creator, and as someone who would love nothing more than to be able to actually make a living out of doing this incredible hobby, I guess the biggest thing to take from all this is being able to adapt and being prepared at any point for everything to just sort of come crashing down and to not work out how it used to. It's just sort of an inevitability when it comes to making stuff on YouTube. And I know I can't really speak because, you know, I have a tiny channel. I literally make like 2 rubber bands and an ice cube off the videos I make, and I'm fine with that. So I realize that all these changes probably aren't really affecting me, and who knows if they ever really will. But I can dream, man. I see a lot of times people give channels flack for wanting to make a profit and wanting to actually succeed off of their channel, but is there really anything bad in that? I mean, there are so many people and channels that, like, the only reason why they are still on YouTube despite their successes is because they are so passionate about what they do. Like, this is not an easy environment. And I know, again, I'm not really one to speak because I haven't had it happen to me personally, but I am a fan of enough big channels to know exactly about all the shit that they have to put up with, and I'm not even the one who's actually, like, getting the brunt of it. I can only imagine. Getting advertisements, like in-video advertisements, sponsored deals, and seeing people calling those channels sellouts, just, that is one of my absolute biggest pet peeves, because I can assure you, if there is ever a point in time where I get big enough where I get sponsored deals, oh, I will be the biggest sellout. Because again, it's, you know, at the end of the day, the people who are able to successfully take their hobbies, the things that they just love to do, and actually make a living off of them, I mean, they're the real winners. And despite how many sponsor deals that those bigger channels might do, the only reason why they are still doing what they do as opposed to really going into anything else, I can almost promise you 99% of them are doing it purely because they are so passionate about what they do. And I think I'm becoming a broken record at this point, but I'm trying to make a point. And the point is that I don't think it's evil for people to want to make a living off of YouTube. I don't think it's, you know, inherently bad for people to change their content depending on this changing landscape of a platform. Also, I do want to note that 8th Lifetime is a pain in the butt because of these desynchronized movements. Oh, this is where I start getting ultra sloppy, and I sincerest apology. Wow. Sometimes I can English, not most of the time though. I think a really good question to ask then is, what motivates people to even be YouTubers to begin with? And I think the answer is pretty obvious. Like, YouTube as a platform is honestly, bar none, one of the best social medias to make connections with. I mean, to have a platform that allows you to interact with so many people at once, even, I mean, knowing you guys, you know, you select like a dozen or so that will frequently comment on the videos, I honestly can't think of any other social media where I could have this kind of constant interaction and relationship with than this video sharing website. It's so incredible, and I really do hope that whether a competitor does come to replace YouTube or YouTube just gets its poop together and makes improvements to actually like make the experience of being a content creator like enjoyable, whatever ends up happening, I hope that there always is some kind of video sharing website out there, because it is such a unique feeling to be able to make others happy just by, I don't know, by being yourself, as dumb and cliche as that might sound, or just, you know, giving opinions and and sharing experiences. We can build communities and come together to like improve lives. To me, that is the greatest part about all this. And I think most people, even the ones that you might think are like the biggest outlets, I think at their core, they all share this same attitude towards YouTube. So I don't really know where this conversation is going. Basically, I think I've said all I've really wanted to say about YouTube. You know, I'd love to get to the point where I could have like a major influence on this website. But even if I don't, I'm just having a blast, and that's really all that matters. So again, this isn't the end of the video yet, but just thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of whatever this is. I truly can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And I guess to wrap things up, other thing I would like to mention real briefly is that I'm actually going to be part of a Smash Bros tournament, Big House 6, which is a tournament here in Michigan. It's a major, like, where people from all around the globe will actually be flying in to compete. I'm going to be going to it, and it's going to be my first tournament experience, which is actually terrifying, but really exciting. And it's always been something on my bucket list to do, and I am absolutely a proponent of having bucket lists to begin with and doing your best to fulfill them and really just have no regrets. Although that said, when it comes time for the actual tournament, I know I'm going to have all the regrets because the Lord knows I get those competing nerves. The only other time I've been in the tournament was like back in, it was either late 2014 or very early 2015. I was part of this online 3DS tournament with my buddy James, and I actually did okay. I lost my first match, but then I won 2 in losers, and then went 1-2 with that 4th match. So I actually did okay, and that was back in like 2015. But the entire time, I was like a huge, sweaty, nervous wreck. My whole body was literally shaking, and this was online with, like, in the comfort of my own home. And this music. This is also one of my favorite ending dragon sequences. I'm calling it the dragon. I don't know what it actually is, but it reminds me of a dragon, so that's why I call it. God, it's so cool. It's so pretty. And orange and blue, very fitting for the theme and narrative of this game. Anyway, it's gonna be really fun. It's gonna be next week. Thursday the 8th is the key to the big house, to the PG house, my bad. And the big house is the first week of October. So I'll definitely be updating you guys on the status of that. But anyway, that's gonna be it for the day. Thank you all so much for watching me play. Thank you all so much for experiencing this wonderful game with me. And as always, I'll see you for the finale of Entwined. It's gonna be a good one.